Thank you very much. It is so exciting to see this room just bristling with so many people, a packed house tonight. I remember it was about 31 years ago, I believe, when I attended my very first Columbia County Lincoln Day Dinner at that time, called the Lincoln Day Dinner. And I sang for a living, breathing, live Arkansas Republican named Frank White, who had won governor and was the governor. I've never met a live Arkansas Republican. I'd heard of John Paul Hammerschmidt, but he was up from the Northwest Arkansas corner and never actually met him in person. So even as a young child, I had that memory of standing there, seeing that it was possible. That it was possible to live out your convictions, to stand on conservative principles, because we believe in freedom and we believe in liberty and we believe that one vote at a time we can get the job done. You know, it reminds me in the 2010 campaign, it was quite an adventure. I look out tonight of so many people who were a part of that process with me. We took on pretty formidable odds in 2010, and out on the campaign trail, I had some adventures every now and again. I remember being in one restaurant, and I was working so hard trying to win over this gentleman, and wow, he was stubborn. I just knew he was right this close, though. I mean, just a little, if I just worked on him a little more, we might just pull him right over. And finally, after about an hour, we were in this packed restaurant. I looked at him and I said, "Mr. Carlton, I'm just not going to win you over today, am I?" And he looked at me and he said, "Well," and before he even finished, I said, "Can you hold on just a second?" And there was another table over here to the side. So I popped up out of my seat and I went over there and I struck up a conversation. It was 4 ladies. And before we were done, they were carrying out yard signs and bumper stickers and lapel. They had contribution envelopes. And I came back over to Mr. Carlton and he said, "What was that all about?" I said, "Well, Mr. Carlton, I had to cancel your vote." I could tell I was not winning him over. So I want you to know it took 2 years, but he's finally in our camp this year. He decided it wasn't worth it. He was not going to spend another hour with me working him over. He was going to just jump right on and be on board. And that's what it takes. Persistence and endurance and hanging in there and staying with it and keeping on, keeping on. And that's what the conservative cause is all about. Because at the end of the day, we do believe that the conservative message is a winning message because it is about freedom. It is about individual liberty. It is about the beauty of the human spirit, the American spirit that built this great country and that will preserve this enduring nation for generations to come. And I think that is an important thing for us to remember and to continue out there talking about. You know, I have to say, a Republican primary is a beautiful thing to see and to be a part of. I am honored to share the stage with these 2 fine gentlemen over here, John and Tom, who I have gotten to know throughout this process. And I'm honored to have them here tonight in my hometown. You know, we do these speeches quite often, and at one speech, John, I got to tell on you, Tom, we did the same order we did tonight. Tom went first, John went second, and I was last. And John, when he came back and sat down, he leaned over to me and he said, "Okay, I made him mad, now you motivate him." So we've got our system all worked out, how it all works. But, you know, as we talk about the conservative things, there are just a few things I do want to emphasize so that you will know what the priorities of my campaign are, because I appreciate so many of you who have seen me through all the seasons of my life. And you've walked with me through those stages and through those seasons and the different careers that I have had, from being with Governor Huckabee to launching my own business. There are so many in this room that made my business possible and that made it successful. You got behind me, you supported me, and because of you I was able to take a dream and become an entrepreneur and invest in my hometown and stay here and become a difference maker because you did that for me. And I appreciate that, and I will never forget that, and I hope to always give that back to those that come after. But you know what I hear out on the campaign trail is such an emphasis on jobs and the economy and moving it forward. And I keep thinking if we can just get the message across that we are not asking for help from the federal government. What we are asking for is the federal government get out of our way. Get out of the way. Let us fly. Let us be free. The government regulations are literally choking the life out of the entrepreneurial spirit in this country, one idea at a time. I gave a speech to a group of 8th grade girls over the weekend, and I said, you know, we hear a lot about getting a job, finding a job, getting a job, finding a job. I said, if no one has planted this in your mind, then let me plant it today. I want you, young women, future women leaders in the state of Arkansas, think about creating a job. What is your dream? What is your vision? I want you to know that we're going to get out there and we're going to work to create an environment in the government where the government gets out of your way and allows your dream and your idea to flourish. And I want you to know there will be people out there to help you get that job done. We need a government that understands that the states created the federal government, not the other way around. We do not serve the federal government of the United States of America. And I'll tell you what, at a 15.5, as of this week, $15.5 trillion national debt, even if you love big government, we can't afford it. I mean, that's just the bottom line. And in your real life, in your families, and in your communities, and in your business, if you can't afford something, you shrink, you scale down, you scope back, you make the choices it makes to live within your means. The federal government isn't special. It's time it learned to live within its means, just like it demands of the American people. And we've got to be sure and send that message to the federal government to begin living within its means. I just want to hit a couple of more things. Second Amendment rights. I know in this room we've got a lot of folks who share that concern with many of us who believe that the anti-gun lobby is alive and well. If they can't come in the front door, they'll come in the back. And right now we've got to watch the Small Arms Treaty in the United Nations. And we've got to be sure that they understand that we are watching them. And I tell folks, good luck. You will never disarm the 4th Congressional District of Arkansas. It won't happen in our class. I'm BethAnneRankin. I humbly ask for your vote and your support on May the 22nd. You stood with me last year as I faced a giant. Stand with me again this year, and I promise you we'll see it to victory in the month of November, and we'll go to Congress, and it'll be your seat. Thank you so much.